Hey folks, Matt with the water company here. I want to show you this well water system. I've got we got a light and a heat lamp. I think that that's important. You don't wait for the people to ask for that. You just take care of it while you're in here. We've got this 3-phase pump. Now this is a constant pressure pump. It pairs with this controller. I have it off right now. I'm just waiting for the final parts of this glue to dry. We're going to fire that up in a minute and set it up for all the information that's on here, but this is going to stay pressurized, always maintaining in between 55 and 60 pounds of pressure. I've got this, you'll see I have a relay inside here. This is the well fill, and there is a pump saver inside this box. You want to make sure you have a pump saver for your well, just in case you ever run some periods of intermittent dryness. Now I want to show you a couple things. I'm going to set up this tank level indicator. It does have 3 fulcrum points at the top so that this gauge will go down in this pipe at the same time that the water level with this float goes down. And the way it's able to do that is there's this counterweight that's going to go inside this 2-inch PVC, and I have to tie this off just to set it right at the tank level. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. And you also have this fill line right here. A lot of guys will not do, in fact I never see anyone do this, is give you this bleed off. This is important. You can pressurize this water line, but then when it freezes, all of this is exposed to freezing conditions, so you have to insulate it and it's still gonna freeze. So what I do is when the storage tank is filled, you'll turn off the power to the well, and then you're going to open this bleed off valve, and that's going to bleed off the water that's in this exposed line. So you're not going to have to worry about that freezing. You can see that I've got that off right now, but you do have to worry about this. There's nothing you can do about it except turn it down into the ground and bring it back up. Ideally, you do a foundation where it's already coming up through the foundation. You tell your concrete guy to do that, or get your plumber. You get me out there before you pour concrete. In this case, it's just sitting on cinder blocks, so it's not really what we have going on. But anyway, just wanted to show you a couple of tips and tricks for that type of freeze protection out there that a lot of guys don't do. The other thing you can do, and I didn't do on this tank because I didn't have access to them, you can add another bulkhead union down here, and you can take this pipe and run it through the bottom. Only thing I don't like about that is that you void your warranty on the tank. This will have a 10-year warranty, but if you drill your own hole through there, and I can't get the manufacturer to do it for me. In fact, I replaced this because this tank comes with a plastic nut that's reverse thread, and I can get it, I always have a leak there, and so I can get it almost tight enough to stop the leak, and then it slips the nut. So I get Terry Rain's stainless steel regular thread, and he's got these flat spots in there, and I love this. When the tank is down, or even if it's not, I just push the banjo in there, and then I drop this down in here and pull it out, and I got a gasket on both sides of there, and then of course I got my ball valve. I like that a lot better. But this bleed off valve is just very important to freeze protection. Anyway, that's a trick to the right way to do your storage. The other thing is I've got this float in here, and so that is connected to this relay, and so power goes in. It will not continue to go through that relay to the pump saver and then down hole until that float goes down, and then it sends the signal back here, and that relay sucks in and sends the power down through. The other thing that I do when I don't do a constant pressure pump like this is I want to protect the booster. And so I'll put another float in there with another box like this, or I'll put a second relay in there, but ideally do it as a separate box so it makes sense, and always mark everything, label it. But if you have a single phase pump that's not a constant pressure, you want to protect it in case that tank runs dry. One way to do it is, instead of right here at the check valve where I've got that pressure sensor, you would have a pressure switch, and that switch has an arm on it. That's a low pressure cutoff, but that will cause nuisance trips. So instead of that, I like to do a float that's a reverse float. So when it's hanging up and I put it at the bottom of the tank, almost at the bottom I should say, when it's hanging up the circuit's always open, but it will interrupt the circuit when it goes down like this. Where the fill float goes down like this, it turns it on and then closes, and then it opens up the circuit and discontinues the power. Well, the one down at the bottom is always on like this, and then it turns it off when you go down here. So I set that to where it goes like that, about 3 or 4 inches below the top of the outlet port. So that way, if that tank runs dry, it stops the pump from running. Now, I do like the low pressure cutoff because let's say that this freezes right here. Well, the float is still up. It's telling the pump to run. Nothing's telling it to turn off, except that low pressure pressure switch that you would have, that low pressure cutoff. So I like the low pressure cutoff when you can do it and the float. But when you have irrigation systems, you get too much pressure loss. Sometimes it doesn't work. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope that helps.